I will be using the Butterfly Dreams template pack, and it has previously been installed into the Dazzling Reflections software. To begin, you'll need a picture that is imported into the Dazzling Reflections software. To do this, come up here to this icon where it says Import Picture. Simply click on that, find the file that you'd like to import, select it, click Open, then it's brought over here into My Documents. The file that we're going to be using today is KS81. To find the file, come over here where it says Templates. We're just going to scroll down. They're in numerical order, which makes it easy to find, and we're going to select KS81. And we'll double click on the picture that we want to use. And it merges them together. We have our kaleidoscoped butterfly. If you want to rotate or change the pattern, simply click on the right hand side of this top butterfly and you can rotate it. We might want them stars to be at an angle. We might want them a little bit bigger, so grab a hold of the handles right here. You can make them bigger, big as you want. Click out here. And there it is. But let's say that's not really the look we wanted anyway. And we want to try this picture over here. Let's just double click it. Brings it right in. But that doesn't look good at all. The stars look much better than this one. But what we can do is come over here. Simply click on it. Bring it over. Now we see our pretty picture, the pinks and the flowers. But I want that flower up here, so I'm going to grab this little handle here. I'm going to twist it. Let's bring it over there like that. Let's make it a little bit bigger. That might help. Let's bring it over here like that. I still want it twisted just a little bit more. There we go. Okay, that's looking much better. Did you see how I made it larger, I twisted the handles and made all the adjustments until I got just the look I wanted? And I think that will work. Let's check it. I think that's gorgeous, don't you? Okay, if you will be cutting this image out by hand, what you will want to do is come up here to File, Export, and save it to the size that you want it to print. You could save it at 8 inches. That would give you a nice big basket. You would click OK, save it as a JPEG, and then just simply send it to your printer and have it printed out. If you're continuing on with this portion of the video, I'm assuming that you have a Silhouette Cameo or Portrait machine running the Designer Studio Edition. To prepare your file for the Silhouette Studio software, you'll want to come up here to File. We're going to click Export. We want to change our file to 7 inches. And I'll explain why later. 300 dpi is great. We're going to click OK. We need to change this file type to a PNG. And we're going to save our file. I saved it to my desktop. We just click Save. Now open your Studio Designer software, come up to File, click Open, find where you saved that file, which was on my desktop, but the file isn't there. What I have to do is come down to File Type, change it from Silhouette Studio to All Files, because remember I changed it to a PNG. And here's my file right there. So we just select it and click Open. Alright, so we bring it there. I'm just going to center it in there a little bit better. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to come over here to my trace window. I'm going to select Trace, and I'm going to simply draw a box around my image, making sure that that box goes all the way out around the image. I'm going to unselect High Pass Filter, and I'm going to change the threshold to 100%. And then I'm going to come up here and select trace. Now if I zoom in, you can see that my image now has a red line around it, and basically we have a print and cut file at this point. Right click on the image and I want you to copy. Then I'm going to right click again and cut. That removes that image but saves it for later. Now we need to work with this file, and I want to make an offset image of this, but I don't want the offset of all of the lines. So what I need to do is select my image, come over here to Object, and I'm going to release the compound path. This makes all the lines individual pieces. And if you notice, occasionally you get some little stray pieces. It's just a little cleanup work sometimes you have to do. This isn't always the case. So now you can just simply come in and select it and delete it out of there. So we're not going to have to worry about that. I'm not really sure why this happened on this particular one. It was probably just something in the picture itself that happened to have been right there and it picked it up. So it's very easy to clean up anything that may cause you a little problem. So let's go ahead and zoom back out, and now we are going to make an offset of this, but we have to tell it what to make the offset of. So let's select the butterflies, come over here to the offset window. I'm going to select offset, and now I have an offset image of this. I don't like the rounded corners. I like the more square corners for this. And this is just way too wide for me. So I'm going to change this to 115. I'm going to select apply, and I like that a whole lot better. And in order to keep myself a little more organized about my different layers and what goes with what, I like to come up here and I'm going to change my cut line to this pretty blue. Okay, and now what I want to do is I want to come in here and I'm going to select all these little triangles and hold down your Shift key so you can select them all at once. All right, we're going to come back to our offset. Now we're going to do an internal offset. And remember, I don't like the round, so we're going to change it to the corner. But I want a little bit more offset, so I'm going to change this to 0.050. And click apply. Like that much better. And since this is a part of the offset shape, I'm going to go in, change my lines back so that way it's I know that it belongs with my offset shape. Now this portion of the tutorial is optional. I think it makes it a little easier, a little cleaner, makes it a little nicer. I'm going to come over here to my rectangle, and I'm just going to draw a rectangle. It doesn't have to be, or a square, doesn't have to be perfect. And I need to select it. And I want to come over here to my scale window, and it needs to be a square, and you can see it's not a square at this point. So I want it to be a square of 1.5 inches. So I don't want to check the locked aspect ratio, because otherwise, if I do that, I still don't have a square. So I need to undo that. Make sure it's both of them is 1.5 inches. So it's square, and I click apply. Now I have a square in here that's 1.5 inches. This is going to be some score lines just to help me put the butterfly box together a little bit better. And so I want to change this. I don't want it to be a straight line. I want it to be a perforated line. So I'm going to choose that. This dashed. You can choose whichever one you prefer. And I'm going to change that to my offset color, because that goes with that particular piece. Now I want to come over here to my draw line, and you may want to zoom in on this one, and I'm going to draw from this point. Oh, let's go back. It looks so perfect I didn't even think to tell y'all. Let's go back just a moment. This little square, you want to make sure that it's lined up touching and it's not quite perfect, you can use your arrow key or your mouse to move it around. Let's check down here. It looks real good, so I'm just going to leave it right there. Okay, now we can go back. Let's grab our line and go from this point to the top of the triangle. I'm going to change that line to a perforated line, the same kind that I had before, and guess what? I am going to change it to that same color. Now I need to come back over. I'm going to do the same thing. It doesn't matter if you go from the triangle to the outer edge or how you do it. Select it. I'm going to change it to the blue, and I want to change it to the perforated. There we go. Select it, change it to blue. Okay, so that's all I have to do for this particular one. So I want to now I want to group all of this together, so I'm not going to mess anything up. Something's not going to get moved. Since this line is already selected, let's just go around, hold down our shift key and select all the lines. Now I'm going to come in here and select these tiny triangles. That's why it's good to have it zoomed in on. And our square. And then that outer edge of the butterfly. I'm going to release that shift key. Select Object, Group. Now let's zoom out just a tiny bit. And if we've done it right, yay, we did. Now sometimes I don't always get it right the first time, and so you have to go back, and you've always got this little undo button. So let's put it back where it was. Now let's go ahead and let's group all of our little red lines back together. We'll do that simply by selecting our little triangles. Hold down your shift key. This one here and that. Go over here to Object, Group, and if I've done it correctly, yes, it looks like we did. Yay! Alright, put it back kind of where it's at. Click Undo, so we can put that move right back. Now we need to get our picture back, so we're just going to right click and we want to paste in front. Not paste, but paste in front. And there is our image. Let's go ahead and group it all together. I'm going to click out here to release that, and I'm just simply going to select all of that. Come up here to Object, Group. Now I have one file that I can move around. I could also resize it if I like. I could make it a little bit bigger if I wanted to do that. You know, to work with. You know, however I like. And if I'd want to add some instructions, I could do that. So that way I would remember next time when I open it up. You know, let's say, a few months go by and it's like, oh, what am I going to cut with what? So I can come down here and I can click my text button down here. Let's make this a little bit smaller. And I'm going to just do it at 14 point. We're going to print the file because we want to print this out first in the print and cut feature of the software, and then we will cut the red lines and we will cut the blue lines from sticky paper. We can come up here, we can say File, Save As, Silhouette Studio, Silhouette Studio file type, click OK, and now we have a Silhouette Studio file.